The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all. Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
All right, blessings, blessings. I didn't know I still had that on the screen. How are you guys doing? Let me get myself on the screen. Blessings, blessings. Welcome to Primetime Home Buyers. And you're here with Lashley, your real estate legal consultant. Yes, and we're here this evening. Thank you for being with us this evening, first and foremost, because you know I kind of change up my times. So I do appreciate you guys. So today what we're going to do is continue to talk about Georgia tax lien sale. So as promised, what we said we were going to do, well, what I said I was going to do, let's put Georgia on the map. Here we go. What I said I was going to do is just get you into the realms of understanding how to close the deal. So today we're going to talk about what is a quiet title action. Okay, so we're going to just talk you through it. We're going to hit a few concepts under there, and then we have some follow-up content that I want you guys to pay attention. And you know that we do go out to the tax lien sales that's out here in Georgia. So we're going to keep you posted on the next one we attend. This month we didn't get to attend. We had a busy schedule, but next month we got something action-packed for you today. Next month. All right, so bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on one second. I thought I had that up there, but let's get to it. What is a quiet title action? All right, a quiet title action basically takes on the concept of doing a title search. Okay, so we're going to put that on the screen, a title search. And this title search can be done by yourself or a title company. Now we're going to talk about it, but we're going to kind of talk about the process of it happening so you can understand how it happens and how it's related to Georgia. Okay, so that's what we'll be talking about today. So a quiet title action is the process that is used to claim ownership over a property. So once you invest in Georgia tax lien sale and you get to the redemption period, and that is a year, and the homeowner have not paid the back taxes, penalties, and anything that is involved related to that particular county, it is your time as a invested party on the title to move forward. So in this particular state, you have to do a quiet title action. Okay, so I have my notes here because I want to keep everything in synchronized order. You know, sometimes I'll just kind of go to the left and start telling stories, and we're not going to do that tonight. So the main goal is to claim ownership in the property that you had interest in, and that is because you were invested in Georgia tax lien sale. The quiet title action allows for the investor to claim ownership. While doing a quiet title action, there are a title review and research process that take place. Now, you do know that what we offer in the Primetime Home Buyers program, or what we call a series of seminars, is a synchronicity of information that show you how to do an adequate title search yourself. This is something that is very important that you need to do before you go to the tax lien sale. When this title search is done, you should already have your title search completed. I.e., example, when I was closing on a few deals in Maryland, I was a little surprised because that lawyer title search yielded the same information that I had. And I'm like, okay. But it was more reliable because he used the title company, and because Maryland judicial process, they honor those type of title searches. So does that make sense? I was like, okay, but it shows that due diligence was done. Okay, and you need a clear title to actually take possession of the home. So within this process, things such as easements, liens, clerical errors within the filing of the document of the foreclosure or whatever process, and I'm saying foreclosure because we're going to kind of talk about that, give you an example when I talk about non-judicial process versus judicial process. Today we're going to show you in a foreclosure format. But in this process, this is what they're looking for. And that's what we look for when we do our soft title search in the Primetime Home Buyers program. It don't consist of just going to the county court recorder's office and say, look in and just find what's there. It's a series of different entities that you need to do your due diligence so you can find the information you need, such as liens. Liens are not going to be recorded in one county office. Okay, so you have to do your due diligence, but you're going to start off in that particular county office, as well as you want to learn as much as you can about UCC, because the UCC, this is something that I'm going to make a bonus video. It's not going to be in the public, but the UCC registry is used to document debt. Okay, so when you have a UCC filing, it has information about commerce, about the exchange of ownership related to property and agreements. Okay, so UCC, everybody don't use that, but entities do use that. So it is kind of like a universal platform that will help you find information. So we kind of talk about that. When I go into that, we're going to show you, but that's part of the title search. That's why people opt to use a title company. And I do recommend that, as I'm going to state later on, that if you are a new investor and you haven't taken Primetime Home Buyers program and you don't feel strong, you need to talk to certified title company. So we're going to move forward. So those are some of the things you're going to be looking for within that process. And this is all so the quiet title action could actually be granted to you via the judgment. Okay, so once the title is clear, then the certificate can be taken to the court to be filed by the petitioner. So that certificate, like I said, it can be given to you by a lawyer. Now, I have to verify, because if you have an adequate title search, and then I'm going to verify, can you bring your own, okay, to Georgia's court? But I will say, if you have to just pay $200 for a title search to basically be granted ownership, and this is related to Georgia. So some processes, example, Maryland, it took about $1,500 or $1,700 to do the foreclosure process because it was a judicial process. But here in Georgia, it's not a total judicial process when I explain it to you, but the judge is involved. But what I will say, spending $200 on a title search and then moving forward to bring it to the court yourself, i.e., if you feel comfortable moving forward without a lawyer, and that's what we kind of teach you, because it's kind of like simple, but you want to file the right paperwork, you want to be knowledgeable, and you don't know what you're handing in. So with that goes to say, I'm going to verify that, but I do know in Georgia you need to have a certified title, a quiet title action. But I'm going to see like if there's a way you can get your own certified. I like to kind of hunt. So I'm going to look, because things kind of loose out here in Georgia. We're going to do a live on Secure Your Energy about what's going on with the deeds out here. They're really, there's really a problem out here where they're stealing people property through deed death. Okay, so that's what the petitioner has to do when they're ready to move forward, and the petitioner is you. So this petitioner is known as the plaintiff, and the defendant is the party that is also vested in interest. But you're not going to be bringing it against the county. You're going to be bringing it against anyone who's named in the title search. Does that make sense? And all of that information is yielded to you when you do an adequate title search. Okay, so you'll know who you need to put on notice. So during this court proceeding, the judge will make a determination whether the entitlement is given to the plaintiff to receive the quiet title action. Okay, because at that time, we're gonna tell you what you got to do after that. It's not that much, but it's worth it. Okay, so while doing the quiet title search, you need to get friendly with, and we're gonna put it on the screen, public records. Okay, public records will be your friend. As I told you, you wanted to do this way prior to it's time for you to own the property, because you could invest in a property in Georgia and then you find that it has IRS liens, that it has other liens that you may not know. Okay, so it's important. But I'm going to be honest, because I got to say it, as a tax lien investor in every state, we are first in line under the IRS, meaning even over mortgage company. And you say, what does that mean? What that means is that when it comes to being first lien holder, everybody will have to pay us before they can actually take claim over the property. And a lot of creditors don't do that. Even mortgage companies, I did a live about that. They usually separate that debt, but the only person you cannot supersede is the IRS. That's why it's very important for you to do your due diligence. We also teach you that in the course, how to, do your IRS information, do your own taxes, because if you invested, an example, a property, let's say you invested, you let the tax lien sell, taxes was due $3,000. You went in a bidding war, it went up to $12,000. Okay, let's just say that property is worth $250,000. But as you go to move forward, you find out that it has an IRS lien. This means that you have to pay the IRS lien and clear it before you can get a clear title. Does that make sense? So if that IRS lien is $11,000, you never know. As I always say, you have to take in consideration, there are people who lose their homes because they're in bad situation, but there are some people who just not good with their credit, with their borrowing practices. And that creates a big liability across the board. That's why you want to do your research, in great detail. And we show you how to do that in the soft title section seminar, and I'll show you. So public records will be your friend. All right. So there are several avenues that you can use to retrieve the information you need to locate issues as stated. So everything that I stated. Title search can be done by a title company in most cases. Once the title was clear, any issues the title company find, they will work with you to clear it. And that's sometimes your job. Okay. Now I'm looking down on the paper. Please deal with me because I want to make sure that I stay on task. But what that goes to say, it is the title company at that point, if the situation is not too big, because they're not going to handle IRS liens, but certain things that they can handle and get addressed by specialists, they can get it clear for you, especially if it's like putting people on notice and when you put people on notice, I mean, you putting creditors on notice. Does that make sense? And you let them know they need to pull the liens off of this property because now you have no right to have it on this particular property. Does that make sense? Now, this is something that you can do as the investor. If you get all of your stuff together, that's why it's a process. Once you start being a tax lien investor, you start to get templates. So if there's creditors that you need to put on notice to say that you got vested interest and you're about to move forward, this is the debt that has to be paid, and that you are staking legal claim based on the law in that state, you can put that in there. That if you need to remove this lien, they will start to basically communicate with you. and the creditor could be, car loan places, things like that. You'll get a letter from them, a promise from them to say that they're going to pull the lien off. And usually that's on the UCC or whatever registry that is. And if they don't move forward, then you'll already have a letter, a certification from them. You want to make sure that it's notarized, and then you'll take that and add that to your claim. Or you can get in contact with the entity that's holding the record and show them if that will allow that to be removed. Does that make sense? That's why you need to know who to put on notice. All right. So having title insurance is not mandated. I don't want you to think title insurance is mandated. Now, the title search in the instance is mandated, and in this particular situation, but the title insurance is not mandated. A certificate in the insurance is different. The certificate is certifying that the research was done, everybody was put on notice. That entity certifies that, and that's usually the title company. Okay. We'll find out if there's any other entities that do that, but it's usually the title company. So with that goes to say, now yourself, where the difference is from title insurance, if you are an investor that wants to take that property and, let's say, get a loan against it, lenders will be more equitable to actually give you a loan if you have title insurance. The title certificate is good. It's fine, but the insurance gives them backup to let them know that this particular investment will have no one come back, not only to try to claim it, but if they do, the insurance company, the title insurance company, will take the litigation to task. Does that make sense? So that's with that, it'll make the lender more comfortable to give you monies. Okay. And you know where I found that out at a couple of investments ago. I had a seller that said that, after he got the certificate and everything was clear, he couldn't get it yet in Maryland. He could not get insurance because it was a clause on top of what I just explained to you. That's why you need to do your due diligence in your state. And that's why we go into law. It's pretty simple to research. You want to know as much as possible. What I did not know a couple of years ago in Maryland is that tax certificates, they will not insure it. No company. And it's not a law, but it's an undertone that's related to a state law. In a case where someone brought a state case and they actually got able to get vested interest back in the property and they paid it off. And it was like, I don't know the case off the top of my head, but what that goes to say, title companies opt to not insure tax lien investment properties in Maryland for the first 5 years. So sometimes you can learn that through trial and error, but also you can learn that through doing your due diligence. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. Anytime I have a little something to share, that's what I do. So this tells the insurance company that you have not, you have done your due diligence, or the lender. Let me correct that. It tells the lender that you have done your due diligence, as I mentioned, when you have title insurance and a certificate of title insurance. Title, title research. I do apologize. All right. So now we got the title done. We got the title research done. We got a certificate. And now we need to move forward in Georgia. What we need to do next? Let's put it on the screen, because I'm always saying, and I need you guys to be aware of it. Judicial versus non-judicial. Hold on. Let me make sure. Every time I have it. Judicial versus non-judicial. So we're just going to put that up there in the basis of judicial versus non-judicial. Judicial means seeing the judge, and non-judicial means not seeing a judge. Now, in this example, we'll talk about non-judicial foreclosure process. Now, the reason why I wanted to show this example, because more people understand this. When you have a lender, the lender already have a warranty deed. Okay, so I believe it's the warranty deed. Off the top of my head, the warranty deed it has you as the borrower, and they are basically the primary owner of the property until you pay off the loan. Okay, this is what I'm remembering. If it's not the warranty deed, I will correct it on my next live. But they use different types of deeds and that type of exchange to make sure that one, it's easier for them to pull the property back and they don't have to go to court. Within that agreement, they will say that it is a due balance and due on balance. The deed will be released to the homeowner, but at this time, you're just a person that's occupying it. I'm being honest. And then if you renege, they don't have to go to court. I mean, like go through the whole court process. They do have to go through, let's say it is some type of process they have to do with some states, but most, when you're dealing with lenders, you have about 30 to 90 days to get out, unless you know how to delay the process. And I'm not going to show you that, guys, tonight. I have shown y'all that before. If it was like, us as people who own properties, we don't like that. But there's ways that people delay it, and that's when we get squatter rights, and all those type of laws that they use. Hint, hint. So now, with that goes to say, we went to public record, judicial. So non-judicial, we're going to get into that. So now what they do is just get a chance to pull the property back faster, and they'll just file a paper with the courts. The courts would just sign off on it. And then because all the notice is given to you or whatever, and then they can take possession of the home. They'll take it to the sheriff office, and the sheriffs will present you with possession, like a writ of possession. That's what they'll be filing. And then it'll turn into basically squatting, or can I say trespassing. So those are some of the things. So what squatters have done, they use those laws to extend it. So we ain't gonna talk about that, but does that make sense? So I wanted you to know about non-judicial foreclosure process. So when I say non-judicial, you'll understand what I mean. So the non-judicial process is basically what the county takes when they retrieve tax liens and tax deeds. So they don't have to go to court to say, hey, we're going to take this property from a person. When you are due taxes on your property and you don't pay, it's part of the law that they can move forward to put a lien and give you time. And then that lien is just time telling you when you have to pay. And then afterwards, it's put it on a tax payroll. And then the process just move forward according to law. Does that make sense? So that's like a non-judicial process, just to give you more concepts of what non-judicial. So that's what you'll be doing here in Georgia, a non-judicial process. But it's sort of judicial, because what you'll do is now you'll be taking that certificate and filing a petition in the courts. Okay. So in this instance, when dealing with Georgia, it will be a and I'm calling it non-judicial process, because you will be filing a petition with the local recorder. So you let them know what you're about to do. You have time, you put them on notice. And also you will put the local courts on notice by filing a petition. Now, the petition supposed to have everything as far as your certificate, your rights, and, showing, that you have rights to claim this property, because the judge is going to look at that, and you have to put everyone on notice at that time. That's the time when you have to put everybody on notice. And then if you're not safe, don't feel like you're safe and you didn't do your due diligence, that's when people get a lawyer. Okay. So, but if you do your thing, like I showed you, you pretty much know everybody to put on notice. Okay. So at this time, the tax assessor office will make any administrative body of the local municipality related to the tax lien investor sector notify of this filing. You also will file a petition with the local courts highlighting your quiet title action. That's the document you will be bringing in, which would highlight the detailed issues that you will present to the court, remedy that you are seeking, and your quiet title action. So you always have to say what you're presenting, what's the issue, and what's the remedy, and what you have as proof, basically. Okay. So at this time, when you file a petition with the correct municipality, your lawsuit has begun. Okay. So let's just put this on the screen. You will be going to court. Well, for most situations, you will receive a judgment if no one actually contests your petition. But if there is someone who contests your petition, then you will have a court hearing. Does that make sense? And usually, when you do your research, especially on the Georgia state, when you get to this point, there's not a lot of redemption that take place. An example, when you do Jersey, Jersey is a high redemption state. Some other states are higher redemption. So you just keep that in mind. So you'll have a hearing if you have someone that can test the petition. When you file your petition, you must ensure that you put all parties of interest on notice about the pending lawsuit. All that information will come. You will find out if this home have a beneficiary because you do your due diligence, and that's some of the things that the title company does. Okay, but I'll show you how to do that as well. There are a few ways you can do this. I recommend that you use more than one route of putting people on notice. So one of them is certified mail, definitely, keeping that. And then another is a forever notice. Okay. What is a forever notice? We're going to talk about that later on. But a forever notice basically is a notice that you put in a newspaper. And we're going to kind of go into detail about that. But a forever notice is accepted in some states, but not all states. So you need to verify that. One will be formally sent certified mail to all parties that have vested interest in the property via the pre-title search or title certificate search presented to you. So as I told you, that is the information that's presented you through that time. That's where you're going to get that information from. In many states, they allow you to make a forever notice, as I mentioned, which is a public notice via newspaper. This information you must research to ensure that it is a legal avenue that you can take. The state allows this to be done in addition to your certified mail to ensure that if there is any contesting that will be done in the future, this will hold no weight to your ownership because you put a forever notice out there. Okay. And we're going to kind of show you that in future broadcasts, how to do that. All right. So ensure that you do your due diligence. And as I say, the things that's pulled up from the title search company, if you bought it for the buyback team, you should have had all the information and make sure that you cross-reference. That means you did a good job. Okay. Ensure that you do your due diligence so your case will not be delayed. Okay. If there are any issues noted in the title search, when you go to the title company, or like I said, when you saw it in the beginning, other actions may take place. Now, if you see something that can be fixed, like for instance, all right, this is something that's a little hard, but it can be fixed where you have someone who transferred the deed without having their wife or husband involved in the process, and they were married and they were sub-owners. And you can verify sub-ownership when you look at the first transfer, what was transferred into their name. So if it was transferred into two people's names, then transferred from one person to another person, you know that there's a defect. Now, this is something that can be rectified. Okay. A title company can put that person on notice. Now, that person being the wife, I would assume at that point, especially as at the tax lien sale, they would have known about what's going on. So they probably wouldn't petition to try to get the property back. Does that make sense? Because they part of it, they can't pay for it, but they will have to certify and that they're put on notice, and then they will update the record. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I know I'm giving y'all some heavy information today, but I'm gonna do a talk through, okay? Because I'm this year and moving forward, I'm only sharing most of the PowerPoints. I'll probably show it once in a blue moon to you guys or YouTube, but most of the PowerPoints are just gonna be on the seminars and in the monthly highlights. Okay. So now, with that goes to say, your court date. This is what you can expect. At the time of your court date, if there is no one who contests your petition, you will be granted final judgment related to the title, as I told you. If there are any interested parties, the judge will hear from them at that time. If not, the judge will grant you your request and certify your title is clear. and have no defects. Does that make sense? Highlighting that there could be no further claim against your property, which means it cannot be contested. I need you to keep this in mind, guys. Keep in mind, if you have someone who has contested your petition, if you had a certified title company and a title search done, 9 out of 10, the judge is just going to favor your position and he's going to grant you your claim. So keep that in mind. Don't stress. I do recommend that if this is your first time as a first time investor, as I mentioned, do look for a title company to complete this action for you. I want you to be able to do it yourself, and you're supposed to do it before you invest in a tax lien or tax deed sale, wherever you're at. And then on a tail end, if you have to pay $200 for a title search, you know what to expect. So for instance, if you saw that defect, you can get to the title company like, hey, it was this defect, but I only invested $1,000. The property worth $300,000. I'm just throwing something out there. So that is something that you may want to pay for the action for it to get rectified. So you have to weigh what you're willing to do, and that's why it's so important for you to do your due diligence. Let me see. Do I have that up there? I had this thing that was supposed to say due diligence. All right, so I'm going to keep it moving. We've been on for 25 minutes. Today's been a talk through. Now the Georgia Code. Let's what's this something? All right, so judicial decisions. That's what I wanted to get into. Possibly should have wait. So basically, you want to do research into judicial decisions sometimes related to your situation, especially if you notice that there's an issue. Okay. So dismissal of a quiet title claim that's improper. Okay. So let me just read this right here. This is trial court error in dismissing the property owner's quiet title claim because although the bank tried to reform the deed to try to fix it and void the foreclosure that listed this property, I don't have to say the name, as the property foreclosure upon the bank's counseling, filed a affidavit of title that the bank intended the deed to encumber another address. So basically, it was an issue in how the bank actually presented the foreclosure information on the deed. This is why you need to pay attention. Okay, because some things could come up and cause a delay. So it was two different addresses here in this particular case. So if that's something that pertains to you, I have not shown you this on this particular platform, but I have showed people how to look up case law. So when you're looking up case law, you will look up case law pertaining to incorrect address, related to quiet title action, dismiss. You pull that up on, you can do Google Scholar. All right. So this is a basically a case that's related to that. It has the case Conan versus JP Morgan Chase Bank. And let's see what happened. Let me read it. The allegations of the property owner counterclaim disclosed that the property owner would be entitled to relief if it was determined that the property owner did, in fact, hold encumbrance legal title of 2215 Dentville. This is so basically they like you brought action against the wrong people. Okay. And that the bank, through filing the affidavits of title in the foreclosure and resulting deed under power, cast a cloud upon the title. And he said that this case of quiet title claim improper was dismissed. So you want to pay attention. This was something that somebody did not win. Okay. So this is some of the things you do, part of your due diligence. Now, this is earlier in your process. I'm going to stop right there and then we're going to tell you what we have for next week. Okay. So this is something you do early in your due diligence because you're interested in Georgia. Okay. You want to know as much as you can find as far as the law. And once you get, your little tell-in or where you do your research, is as you're doing your title search, you're doing your soft title search yourself before you invest, and you see an issue, you may want to look and see, can I handle the issue? You don't want to say I could just handle the issue because I could pay this person, because lawyers are going to run you ragged. No disrespect, I love you lawyers, but they're going to make sure that they get their money worth. Okay. Lawsuits, the general accident lawsuits is up to 30 to 33%. So other fees I know are very expensive. So that's why I think it's very important for you to mitigate that cost by doing as much as you can yourself, and then find the lawyers that will work with you. So this is what I'm gonna do. Next week we're gonna follow up on Monday. So today's Wednesday, do Wednesday, Mondays, things like that. Next week we're gonna follow up is what is a title certificate, the basics. So it's going to have that, but then we're going to go into what is a title action against the world. So it's going to have both concepts in it. So you want to know about that. In your investment process. Okay, it's very important for you to stay versed, continue thinking, and also share this information for new investors. I'm here, I'm always divulging information that basically the gurus are out there hiding from you. So if you ever heard a commercial that said, you want to invest in tax liens? What's the coolest thing? This is the coolest investment. The government can give you money in tax liens. Be careful, because it's easier said than done. But once you get the method down pat, you do well. Does that make sense? Once you get the method down pat, you do well, and then you can not only increase your real estate portfolio without having a home loan, but you also can invest in different states across the United States. It's all about researching and understanding how the process works. So I do want you guys to hit the like button, and I will show you guys one more thing, because we do actually have a Georgia seminar where we have it available. We have a certain portion available on YouTube. You can look at that, but we also have the main seminar that's here online. And when I say seminar, I'm talking about action packed. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections in here, which is 9 videos that consist of videos that are 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I try not to go too much, but they're on. You can always see them. They're on demand. And also with this seminar that you get, called This is Georgia Tax Lien Seminar, you will get a membership. Also access to the study hall, where we have references for you and links to needs to know. So you get a free membership with that. And the next important part that I talked about today is pre-title search. This is basically what the title company does, but you need to do that before you invest. It's very important, because if you don't, the title company is going to find the defects, and you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to pay for it. So in these seminars, it's a series of seminars. We have key concepts of title search, what you should know, looking for clouds, locating a lien on a home, okay, determining the chain of title search. We're going to show you how to do that and what to look for. Quiet title actions, a comprehensive breakdown. So is this on Crump, what we just showed you now? Bonus, you will have looking for a title company. So we give you some concepts of how to look for a title company, and also a bonus, understanding federal tax liens. Dun, 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 dun. Very important. Okay. This is very important. And I do believe, and I don't know why is this not listed here in the pre-title search, we also have a bonus, and it will be updated tonight. The last bonus that we have in there is how to look for wills and heirs, the beneficiaries. Does that make sense? Because these are the people you need to put on notice. What if it's someone who have rights to that property by way of beneficiary? We show you how to look for those things. So I'm going to add that, because it was supposed to be there. I don't know why it's not there, but that's what we offer you. We offer you the building blocks to be very, very successful. So with that goes to say, I think I shared a lot. We're going to look for next Monday coming up. The Monday coming up is what is a title certificate, the basics, and what is a title action against the world. We're going to show you it. We're going to show you how it looks in the newspaper. You know what we do. We got to show you everything. So with that goes to say, you have a beautiful evening, and I thank you for being here with Lashley, your real estate legal consultant.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.